some of the main guys that played large portions for us last year will be back. And then some of the new guys we've got coming in, like I said, I'm really excited to work with. I think we've got some very dynamic players, especially going forward.
Hello and welcome on into OCFC Extra, the first edition for 2026. Getting excited here as we work our way towards the 10th season of play for Oakland County Football Club. Couldn't be more excited to get this series up and running with player, coach, and staff interviews and bringing along some news and notes along the way. My name's Robert Kerr, media director and play-by-play commentator for the club. And with me, I'm happy to say, local once again, Mitch Gatzke. Welcome in to OCFC Extra.
Thanks so much, Rob. It feels so good to be back in Oakland County and just in time, too, as we really ramp up and get ready for the 10th season of OCFC this summer.
Yeah, plans and announcements coming this year sooner than ever. Around the holidays, there was a tryout and an announcement for a second team for OCFC going to participate in the Midwest Premier League. And there's also some collective organization on behalf of the supporters ahead of the 10th season. There we have club engagement officer Luke Zagorski leading the way at the beginning of February. A big group of supporters, old and new to us and new to the club, gathered at Weiss Distillery's upstairs theater to get organized, assign some roles, and then plan events for the next few months leading up to the season.
Yeah, and if you've ever spoken to Luke in person, you know how just engaging he is. So I think it's the perfect appointment for that role. Very excited to see what he's going to be doing to really bridge the gap between supporter section, the Elmwood Elites, the club itself, and then the community at large. He does such a good job of welcoming everybody in and connecting people, establishing those relationships. You know, you and I have done some away day road trips over the years with Luke and other supporters, and those moments, those memories, that's what it's all about. So very well done in the appointment, and congrats to Luke, and looking forward to seeing where he goes with it.
Yeah, connect to Elmwood Elite both on Facebook or on Instagram. We've got a pickup soccer game, a social gathering for new and old fans alike. And there is a TIFO painting party in the works as well. And then maybe a couple other get-togethers planned before the 2026 season kicks off. We are going to go through the schedule. And tickets are available, so we can check that out. May 16th is the home opener, the first game of the season, and can't wait for that. We'll detail that in a little bit. We are now going to get to head coach Steve Walker. I interviewed him previously as he goes into his third season at the helm in purple. He has his full accoutrement of staff for the second season in a row, and it is also the second season for ownership under Dennis Weiss and presidential leadership by Dominic Troya. So some confidence in the front office, I think, is trickling down, and organization is going in the right direction.
Yeah, it's no doubt. You mentioned just how early things are getting into place this year, and I think that comes with that consistency in ownership to management to coaching staff. These guys know now, hey, here's what it takes. Here's what we need to do to make sure that we are ready to hit the ground running on May 16. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the winter months into the early spring. And, you know, it's amazing to see those steps being taken proactively, so, you know, that we can really put our best foot forward when that season does kick off.
And we will walk you through the 2026 USL2 season in just a few moments, but let's check out my interview with Oakland County FC head coach Steve Walker. To kick off OCFC Extra ahead of the 2026 season, we brought the boss to lead the series. He coaches MLS Next Team's F. Varder and assists with Northwood University men's team. But we're here and glad to be joined for the third year OCFC head coach Steve Walker. Welcome aboard, sir.
How are we doing, Robert? Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Very excited to be firing up the OCFC Extra machine, because that means we have a kind of a countdown to kickoff for the purple season to begin. So we haven't seen you since the end of last season, or at least not on this show. What have we missed?
I mean, just busy fall, super busy fall. Obviously with the university and the MLS Next team. Me and Dom obviously stayed in touch a little bit. We kind of conversed over the college season, just to see how players were going. And then he obviously started to get people reaching out to him. So me and him kind of started to put things together around November time, chatting about this coming season. So yeah, just looking forward to what we've got planned for the summer.
All right, I guess that leads me to 2026. The schedule has just come out. What do you think of it? Is it favorable to those who bleed purple?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's good to get. I mean, I think last year's scenario where we only played one team or a couple of teams once. I think the fact that we play everybody home and away, I think that'll be great. Like I said, from our fan base, obviously we have a great home fan base, but the guys travel well as well. We do a really good job of showing up at the away locations as well. So looking forward to that. Obviously, all in Michigan. Obviously some very familiar faces. So again, I think it's just I know we lost a good team in Northern Indiana, but I just think we're just as strong. So.
Yeah, I'm not mad about losing a team from Indiana, and it's fantastic the familiarity that we are coming to have with our in-state opponents in the USL2's Great Lakes division. What do you think of the prospects? Are we front-loaded with games? Are there some blocks of games that you're particularly going to be working the team towards?
No, I mean we did. I mean myself and Dom did the scheduling call. We did a fantastic job of getting the games that we did. Obviously, we got predominantly majority games on the weekends, which we wanted. So obviously we could maximize the week days for training. We open with a home game. We open with Union at home. Like we have done for the last couple of years. And then we finish with a home game as well, which is always a bonus. So I think we've got a nice little blend. We have a little bit of an away trip towards the end part of June. We've got a couple of away games, but yeah, I'm really pleased with the schedule and how it's kind of shut down. And we should be able to have a good preseason with the time and that the guys are getting back in. Get some scrimmages in before we have our first game. So yeah, like I said, just waiting to get the summer started. Everything's projected on the good side. So,
well, you said that in the fall and the early parts of the winter, you and club president Dominic Troya were doing a lot of work to put the club or the squad together. And through social media, I'm sure fans have seen a little bit of trickle of the signings coming in. What can you tell the fans about what's to come, or what to look out for here as the players are announced?
Yeah, I mean, we've announced quite a few right now. We've obviously got some of the guys, the returning guys. Colin Arce, obviously coming back as captain. Marco Mazzei coming back. Obviously Rosine, Alex. Transferred into Western Michigan, so he's got a different environment from his fall. So he's glad to have Alex back. Obviously Rob. Wouldn't have anybody other than Rob in my goal anytime. So. It's good to have those guys back, and obviously some of the new guys. Some of the guys that maybe are a bit familiar to some of the fans as far as USL2. Vitalis. I think he's been a fantastic player for the last 2 or 3 years that he's been in the division. I think he's been a big part of the success over there in Midwest United. So very, very pleased to have him on board. Obviously Ryan Hanoush. I talked to Ryan a couple of years ago, my first year. And wanted to see about him having coming in, but I think he was coming back from an injury, so really excited to obviously work with him. Nick Wilson is a player that came to us, that reached out to Dom, and like I said, we've had some good interactions with Nick. Very mature player. I think he'll do a very good job in our back line. And then Rocco was actually recommended to us by a player that we wanted to have last year, but actually ended up taking a pro opportunity. In Germany, Sam Biven, he recommended Rocco to us. He's an Italian defender that plays at Merrimack. So again, we've got a few others, some new players. I think some of you guys are going to be excited by some of the new players that we're also going to be releasing coming up, and then obviously some of the returning guys. We've still got quite a few returning guys coming back, so I won't spoil some of the guys that are coming back in, because obviously I'll let the announcements come out. But some of the main guys that played large portions for us last year will be back. And then some of the new guys we've got coming in, like I said, I'm really excited to work with. I think we've got some very dynamic players, especially going forward. Obviously Andrew was another one. Andrew Director, and another player that I've wanted to come and play. I had reached out to Andrew my first year, but then he went to Ann Arbor and scored twice on us. So I'm glad to have him in the purple this summer. Like I said, I think he'll come back and have a fantastic summer for us.
So it sounds like we have a balanced squad of a good core returning, and then some additional weapons on the squad, which is very exciting. I think that kind of balance is key, but it's also sounds like we've maybe weakened some of our opponents by getting some players familiar with us in the division.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was, I think the one good thing with obviously Dom having the understanding and being around the league last year and seeing some of the players, and I think also as well what he's created behind the scenes, for the players, themselves, the atmosphere that the players are coming into, is a favorable environment. It's something that they want to be a part of, because of how well that obviously we take care of the guys when they come in, the opportunities that we give them over the summer, and then obviously the way that we take care of them off the field. So, and obviously the club's growing, the club's obviously expanding in a way, in a beneficial way, but also as well, it's also probably stage one to what, a couple of more stages to what we want to try and do over the next couple of years. So
yeah, definitely an exciting time to bleed purple, no doubt. And then we've seen those players like you're talking about, Direction and others. Mitch and I up in the booth, we've had the pleasure of commentating on them for the wrong side. So it'll be a pleasure to have them wearing the purple of Oakland County. But in general, though, Coach, what has you fired up for the 2026 season?
I just feel like I think we'd had a good season last year. Obviously, I look to improve on my first year. I think we're going to take that next step potentially where we are. Like I said, I'm very happy with the guys we've brought in. I think we've definitely addressed some of the problem areas that that we maybe had last year, some of the deficits. I like the addition of the Midwest Premier League. I think that's going to be great for the whole squad. And again, I think it's going to be great for the fan base as well, just because of the way that the schedule is. There's a couple of days where we do have double headers, so that there'll be scenarios where, they could be able to come and watch both games. So I think that will help as well. And again, obviously, the atmosphere that will create, it's a World Cup year, the World Cup's in America. I think everybody's going to have a lot of, interest and a lot of buzz for that. And obviously our fan base and the game day experience we put on, I think is probably second to none in the conference. So I'm looking forward to, obviously some of the stuff that we've got going on for the guys. And again, the group that we've got coming in, I think is pretty stacked from top to bottom. I think we've got a ton of depth. We look to try and recruit. When myself and Dom and the coaching staff were putting this together, try and get at least, 2 players for every position, and 2 players that we obviously feel comfortable putting in at any kind of scenario. So I think it'll only help, the returning guys, the level will go up, and obviously the new incoming guys, we'll have a few fan favorites with some of the new incoming players.
I really like what you said there. Competition for spots, having a number of really high-level players competing for those first team spots, but also broadening the footprint, more players donning the purple of County with the addition of the second team in Midwest Premier League, another league that's very exciting with a lot of Michigan teams involved. So another opportunity to see some teams around the local area, but broadening it out. I'm glad you said something about the World Cup. And for those who are coming to Oakland County FC off of maybe getting excited for the World Cup, how could you say, like, watching the World's game, how's that translate to local ball?
I mean, obviously, it give you your first taste of live, watching the game live and seeing the speed of the game and the pace, obviously, in which the game's played. I mean, obviously, the World Cup level, those are world-class players. Obviously, the level is, the speed of play is good, but you don't really get that from watching it through the TV. So I think, obviously, coming down and watching the guys and seeing, obviously, how they play and the speed of play that, that goes on and the quality of, that both teams, I mean, regardless of who we play, I think that's the one beauty of our league, is all of the teams, do produce a good level of soccer. There's not really like a standout team that's just, that kind of, that drops off. So, all the games are good quality games. I mean, obviously, it gives you opportunity to follow a team and support us and follow us, and look to try and push for the next level and push for the next rounds and playoffs and stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said, just the atmosphere that obviously having the world's biggest tournament, right in our backyard, and people will be talking about it a lot. There'd be a lot of coverage, not just on the sports networks but on other networks as well. So. And I mean, obviously, last time the World Cup was here in '94, that pretty much spawned, the current MLS. So I'd be interested to see, the kind of extension or what kind of comes from, from having it here this summer. So
definitely an exciting time to be getting into American soccer, and especially getting into USL action in Oakland County Football Club action here, playing the 2026 season at Royal Oak High School Stadium. Opening day, March 16th, against the closest of rivals, Union Macomb. Before I let you go, Coach, can't wait for like the preseason parties, the media days, and that opening day on May 16th. But kind of what are you up to between now and then, and what can the fans expect to see before the season kicks off?
I mean, well, obviously, as the announcements come out, currently right now for me, I mean, I'm actually off to Florida on Thursday. I'm looking forward to some
lucky you.
So I know. So I'm looking forward to some nice warm weather for a few days. So my the 19s and the 17s have got a showcase down there. So I'll be there for 4 days. Just finalising the squad. We're 1-2 bodies away from pretty much sealing up the USL2 squad. Just having conversations, obviously, with the guys from the Midwest Premier League, kind of finalising that schedule. And then, obviously, as we get a little bit closer, start to get the guys together. I think we've got pretty much the full idea of when they're all going to be able to report, and how preseason will look, and media and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, between now and then, just Northwood spring season coming up. I'm looking forward to that. Vardar season coming up as well. Looking forward to that. And then obviously, hopefully Man United can make top 4 and get into Champions League, and we can see if we can buy some proper players this summer before the World Cup starts. So
from grassroots all the way to the top, soccer never sleeps, does it, Coach?
No, absolutely not. Never.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I love talking before the season. Really love getting amped up the whole part of the season. Late winter, early spring, players are coming out. We're starting to learn the schedule. A very exciting time to be an Oakland County FC supporter. Thank you. Safe travels to Florida, and can't wait to see you as we get closer to the 10th season for Oakland County FC.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. And as always, bleed purple.
Hey. All right, welcome back. My name's Robert. This is Mitch. Great to talk to head coach Steve Walker. Curious to see what he and his group can accomplish here in 2026.
He's the man. It's just so fun and informative to hear him speak on the game. He's got decades of experience. He's been around the country coaching these players, so he has familiarity with their game as well, and the way that he's built the foundation of this team and been able to roll in some players that we've seen play elsewhere in the division. It's been really cool to watch over the last few years, and have to applaud the work that Steve Walker and his staff have done.
Yeah, excited to see what happens there. And if you want more Coach Steve Walker, he's been popping up on some podcasts. Most specifically, he was on a popular podcast called I Hate Soccer. So if you want to see more Coach, head on and check him out on that show. But before we get out of here on episode 1 of OCFC Extra in 2026, The 2026 schedule is out. It's kind of my Bible to get me through spring and summer, and it is now in our laps. Tickets are available, but we teased at the beginning of the show, May 16th, the opening game, and it's right there at home at Royal Oak High School Stadium, taking on local rivals Union Macomb, if you believe it.
Second year in a row, I believe, that we open the season with those new upstart local rivals, and it's got a flavor to it, right? With some coaches and some players that we're familiar with heading over there, and they're really not that far away. So it's been fun to see that confrontation build over the last year. Can't wait to see everything come out on the pitch on the 16th. It's going to need to be a quick start for County as we take a look at the schedule as a whole. 4 of the first 5 games at home. And we know this season being as short as it is, just the 12 games on the calendar, you really have to start fast or you run the risk of needing to make up more points than you can toward the back end of the season. It's going to be crucial for County to bring in some of those 3 points in those opening matches.
Yeah, similarly to college football or the NFL, literally every single game matters. Any points dropped could be a disaster. So 4 out of the first 5 matches at home in Royal Oak. Overall, the schedule has 3 Saturday evening matches, a Thursday, 1 Sunday, and concluding on July 10th on Friday against Midwest United. So we already touched on it. Union Macomb on Saturday, May 16th. Game 2, Kalamazoo comes into town on the lone Thursday on May 21st.
Yeah, and Kalamazoo is a team that we've seen win the division. It's been a couple years, but they've always been a strong outfit and really presented some challenges for County and really every team across the league. First road trip there at Lansing on Thursday, May 28th, before back home that Sunday, hosting Ann Arbor. And it's thick and fast throughout the season with 12 games kind of scrunched into this time frame. But yeah, you're looking at 2 games in a week, sometimes 3 games over a week and a half. The crucial stretch that I really think, it's going to come down to the 4 games all away from Royal Oak High School Stadium between June 20th, that's a Saturday, and then Friday, July 3rd. We're at Union Macomb, we are at Flint, we are at Kalamazoo, and at Ann Arbor. And then finishing up hosting Midwest, as you mentioned, on Friday, July 10th. So those 4 games, it could come down to those. If you're able to take away 3 points from a couple of them, it's all about defending home turf, right? You want to be able to count on those games as wins, and then points on the road, kind of a bonus. We'll see how this division shakes up. It's always competitive. There's only 2 playoff spots, and we've seen it in years past. There's 3, 4, sometimes 5 teams that you'd think maybe deserve a shot in the playoffs, but there's only so many spots, and it's going to come down to performance in these matches.
You said it, fast and furious, 12 games in just 7 weeks. So we wait all year for this, and it comes thick and heavy, but couldn't be more excited for that. OCFC Extra continues. We will be talking to some brand new players, some new young players coming into the OCFC squad. Very exciting names. I'm very excited to talk to them. We're going to get some club staff and some coaches on the show to inform you of all the upcoming events and the preparations going into Oakland County FC's 10th season on the field. I said earlier that tickets are available now, so be sure to check that out. Oakland County FC online will have that for you. And thank you so much for tuning in, and can't wait to see you out in Royal Oak or at any of the many get-togethers that we will see here in 2026. Thanks, Mitch, for joining me here.
Absolutely, Rob. Pleasure as always. Bleed purple.
Yep. See you guys next time. And always bleed purple.